heartfelt hello to everyone out there. I am Stacey,
I am Mike.
and this is Raising My Dad.
Yeah.
And last week, oh, I seem to have a frog in my throat. I apologize. Last week we left off, or last episode was just me talking. It was my solo episode and my epiphany moment.
How was it?
It was therapeutic.
I mean, I edited it, so I listened to it.
What did you think?
It was pretty good. I'm more wondering, so actually we haven't talked about it, is what you thought. How did you feel with it all?
I started to get a little emotional at the end, but it actually gave me some clarity. I told you I had that aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, like that clarity and that purpose as far as really what the direction of this podcast was going to be. And I realized that by just sitting there and talking and word vomiting, for lack of any other term, it really was therapeutic.
Good.
And I really looked back and saw all the positive.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I have this tendency to focus on all the what's not going right and what's not working and
C.
what I see.
As in yes, not the letter C.
Oh, got you. Not as in like I told you so.
You focus on the negatives a lot.
I have been lately, so
That's okay. We're all different. We all do different things.
No, I think sometimes, like for me, I'm in the forest, so I'm not looking at the trees and I'm not looking at the big picture. Or no, I'm in the forest, so I'm looking at the trees. I'm not looking at the big picture. And like, so it gives me that time to reflect and really look back and think about all the good that's happened. And so I want to make sure that we talk about that. And
Does that mean you're nearsighted?
I don't know. I am not an optometrist.
Okay.
You're a dumb plumber.
I am a dumb plumber.
Yeah. So that was our last episode. And now
what are we talking about today?
Let's just start talking about that first week home and all that good stuff.
Okay. Well,
so Casey and Jake have left, and it's our first night, and we
went over that.
Crash.
Yeah, we crashed. Your alarms are set for 1, 3, and 5 to go check on him in the morning.
No. My alarm, not yet. My alarms were not set at 1, 3, and 5 yet. My alarms were set at 2 and 5 because that was the normal times that he would wake up on our trip home. Mm-hmm. So I figured if I hadn't heard anything from him by then, I should go check on him. So when I say this, or when we say this, I guess we should probably let people know. So my dad is downstairs in our house. We have a split foyer house, and he's downstairs, and he has a massive bedroom with his own bathroom.
Maybe you can do a video and kind of show, without showing stuff, you can show what his setup's like.
Yeah, there's some videos of him like walking and stuff that I've taken, and his walker and all that. So I'll see about that. However, so his setup is he has a living room and it's a walkout. So he has an outside area.
Little patio.
Yep. And then he has his own bathroom that you can get to from either the living room or the bedroom. And that's pretty much all there is besides some storage closets in our basement. And so that is where Dad is. And that is where Dad is settled. And I have...
Now, hold on. That setup takes up 92%-ish. 92%, we'll say.
Yeah.
Just a good round number.
Yeah.
Of the basement.
Yeah.
So he has a lot of space.
It's all his. Yeah. It's his wing of the house, or his floor, as we've dubbed it. And so courtesy of our youngest, we have baby monitors because when the grandson is at the house, she'll be upstairs. And we're staying downstairs because we have it as a guest bedroom and craft area. And
so now it's a bumper monitor?
Yeah, so now it's a bumper monitor. And so I have the one end of the monitor, which it was funny because as Nicole and I were talking the one day, she was like, Mom, when he when he says that, he has to use the bathroom or, he needs you to come downstairs, which is where I'm at a majority of the time, but I'm also upstairs making dinner and stuff. She goes, why don't you just push the button and tell him you're on your way? And I said, I don't know how to do that. been so long since I've had little kids. I don't know all the new technology.
No.
And she goes, send me a picture of it. And then she goes, oh, it doesn't have the button to push to talk. Because I was kind of excited because then, he wouldn't be worried.
Walkie-talkies?
Yeah. Because then he wouldn't be, I've thought about walkie-talkies too. But anyway, I have a baby monitor. And so
we take it around all over the upstairs when we move.
we do. The other side of it is that you don't really sleep. I learned this.
Yeah.
And I'm learning it more and more. You don't really sleep. It's like having a kid all over again.
I used to be a very heavy sleeper.
Extremely.
And now I don't sleep like that anymore at all.
So my alarms are set for 2 and 5 because if I haven't heard from him by 2, I need to go down and check on him. And then again at 5 if I haven't heard from him because he needs to use the bathroom in the middle of the night.
Correct.
Because I get worried that maybe he's not breathing.
He is not allowed to walk unless you're with him.
Correct. I have to be right next to him at this point in time.
Correct.
And I have to be, we don't have to have the gate belt on per se, but
it's
I need to be
you're
right
doing
there.
that. It's doctor orders.
Yes. The doctors have said that he has a high fall risk. And so I have to be right next to him while he's walking in the bathroom with him.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing, I learned my dad's a natural blonde, unfortunately.
Gross.
I know. So the things you never think that you'll see or do with your parents and necessity, and you just have to do the things.
I could not do what you're doing.
Why not?
I just can't. It's not who I am or how I am.
And I understand that, but when you say that, okay, so you're too selfish. But I mean, physically,
everybody can.
Okay. What's the part of it that makes you say, no, I can't do that?
I don't want to.
I mean, some people are like that.
No, I don't. I don't know if I could do all that. I just don't know if I could.
Right. I mean, I'm sure for some people it's, I want to be a daughter. I want to be a husband. I want to be a wife.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a brother, sister, whatever it may be. I don't want to be a caregiver because your roles change and your relationship does change
dramatically.
So, I mean, I get it. So
I'm good being a backup.
You are really good at being the backup.
But I don't think I can be the primary person.
Yeah. But I don't think it's because you're selfish. I think it's because you don't have any patience at all.
That's a very factual statement.
But, and that's the thing, you have to have patience. So where I'm used to just going down the stairs, going in the bedroom, grabbing what I need, running back up, it takes 2 seconds. I'm in, I'm out. Like now, to go down, like for my dad, it takes, I don't know, 5-6 minutes just to get from the bathroom.
Everything takes longer.
The bed. But he's doing it.
He is. And he's gotten better the week that I've been around him ish now, 5 days. And the 2 weeks you've been around him, it's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Already.
So we're home and we're, first things first.
Biscuits and gravy. Oh.
Biscuits and gravy. No, it is. We have to call all the doctors and get everything set up because we can't skip a beat. And so we get home on Monday. It's now Tuesday and I'm already calling doctors. And one of the things that we didn't touch on is,
sorry.
Where were we at when my dad decided to call the doctor? Do you remember? Do you remember what state we were in? Do you remember, were we on the last day?
Yes.
The last day?
Yep.
Okay.
It was. Because we were driving, I think we had just left.
I was driving now, yeah. So we're Des Moines.
Yeah, we were past Des Moines.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So we were like 2 hours from home.
So Dad, it has to have a stress test because we knew even before he went to Thailand that he had this heart murmur, but he saw the doctors and the doctors said that he could go to Thailand.
The dude can't walk. He's going to do a stress test.
He cannot walk and he's going to do a stress test. However, he was cleared to go to Thailand because we did know that he had this heart murmur.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that maybe the doctors knew how much walking around he was going to be doing. And I don't know if that can cause additional stress. But anyway, I digress. So we are calling his primary care doctor back in his hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And this medical clinic finally gets on the line after hanging up on us one time after 20 minutes. And now it's like 30 minutes of waiting on hold.
Mhm.
Finally gets on the line and tells me that I have the wrong department. I don't need his primary care doctor. I need to go to a cardiologist. Transfers me there, wait for 10 minutes to get transferred back to his main doctor.
It was like an hour.
And then I get told,
We were in Des Moines. We were almost like Iowa City by the time that happened.
yeah. And then I get told,
Legit.
I'm trying to think, that's like an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get told that their system has been down, so they can't tell us who has appointments with who or who.
How long had it been down?
30 days. She said our system's been down for over 30 days.
So there's nothing they could even do.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. And my dad is now like, this is a cruel joke. What the heck is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And so cancel those appointments and turn around. And he says, now what am I going to do? And I'm like, we'll just find you another primary care provider. Did not think this was going to be a difficult thing to do.
Right.
This was a difficult thing.
I mean, he's had the same doctor forever.
Not ever.
I mean, not ever.
Like 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for a while.
Because my mom wouldn't go to the same doctor because that doctor wouldn't look her in the eyes.
Yeah.
So she felt he was disrespectful. We're not going to talk about who the doctor is or what medical clinic it is because what we just recently found out is not only were they down for over 30 days, they're still down.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had what is that?
A data breach.
A data breach.
So everybody's personal info
and private health
potentially
information
could be out there.
Yeah. So, yeah. And the other concern then was like, even if we got him a new doctor, how are they going to get his medical records because they had sent it to the other doctors?
Correct.
So it was phone call after phone call after phone call and just waiting. Mm-hmm. And they'll call you back.
You did get him a primary care doctor, though, fairly easily.
Interestingly enough, that Tuesday, the Rehabilitation Center of the Northwest from Post Falls called and checked in to see how Dad was doing. They were so happy to hear that we were home. And then gave all the doctors the go ahead that they could start contacting us. Mm-hmm. So then the physical therapists were actually here that first week and in the house and working and assessing Dad.
I think they were here 2 days after we got home.
Yeah. So like Thursday they were in assessing him, and that was awesome because
and the nurse.
Sooner, mm-hmm, they did it both at the same time. So yeah. So it was really cool because they were the first ones in here and they were like, didn't skip a beat because you go from inpatient where my dad was in Idaho and it's like 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. So you have physical therapy, like, what is that? Pretty intense. Is that a good word? Intense.
Well, I mean, post-surgery, it can be intense, even though it's like to normal. Like if you didn't just have surgery, it's not a big deal, but like post-surgery, it's horrific.
So yes.
Lots of pain.
So, I mean, he was there for 2 weeks, but it was like twice a day he had physical therapy. Once a day he had occupational therapy.
So 3 times of therapy a day.
You know, his days were packed with that stuff. And then, you know, they wanted him to, as much as he could, walk down to dinner. And he will still tell the story of all the places and all the rooms. He was the farthest from
He was the farthest room from the entrance and the cafeteria.
Yep. Unless we went the back entrance, because we used the back entrance a couple of times for transport.
Well, then he's the first.
The other side of it is doctors don't come in there either. You actually go to the doctor visits.
You have to get in the shuttle and go.
Mm-hmm, and then I'd follow in the truck.
Which is not a bad thing. Because it also gets the people up moving.
Yeah, they just put him in his wheelchair and then they're all equipped to, like, he rides it up, takes him up, he goes in, they buckle him in. It was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So we're now at physical therapy in-home because I requested that it would be at least in-home in the beginning because getting him up and down those stairs, I was so nervous about.
Correct.
$50 garbage can.
Yep.
And it works, but man, does it take a while. I mean, we're talking 20 minutes to get up those stairs.
The physical therapists that came to the house have never seen that method.
Yeah.
That was Idaho people.
Yeah, they had never. They were like, "What are you talking about? The trash can method?"
I mean, I don't know if anybody doesn't know what it is. You basically, to go up the stairs, you sit it down on the first step. You sit on it, turn, put your feet on the steps, and you can grab the handrail and pull yourself up, and then just repeat the process all the way up the stairs.
Yep.
And then just in reverse going down.
Yep.
So, I mean, the 7 stairs going downstairs would take 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little longer going up.
Yeah.
And you have to put the gate belt on. And then
the pain levels are so high. I mean, he literally screams every little movement.
And then he gets very frustrated because I
Yeah,
put my hip into him because he's going to fall off the garbage can.
Yeah, there was a few times where he's just very unsteady.
And so,
Obviously,
stop pushing me. Stop pushing me. Yes, he's very high fall risk, but stop pushing me. And I'm like, Dad, you're going to fall off the garbage can. I'm not pushing you. I'm guiding you. Please just let. He's like, but I can't do that. And it is.
Well, he goes to sit down and is not even close to the garbage can. So you're pulling him towards the garbage can.
Yeah. And it's part of it is because he only has one eye. So I know part of it is depth perception, but part of it is truly that he can't feel where he's sitting back in relation to what's going on. And just to move. So stairs are 7 3/4. I think I've now figured it out. Because I've heard this so much. But
I think 8 inches.
Just for him to pick his foot up to do that is so painful for him. And it's the pain meds before the physical activity. And you time it out. So it's like in his system for 20, 30 minutes. So just going anywhere, especially like physical therapy, was like, how am I going to do this around their schedule?
Well, and the whole time too, you have to hold on to the railing because I mean, you know, it's sturdy, but you don't have a 160-pound man pulling on it 7 times up, 7 times down.
So physical therapy is coming in. The nurses are coming in to check his wound, waiting for the steri strips to fall off, and he's counting them and he can't pick them. He's very upset about this. Can I just pick that one off? Nope. Let it fall off on its own. Checking the blood pressure, doing all the things.
Oxygen levels.
Yep. All of the oxygen levels. And he's tired.
Yeah. He's always tired.
Physically, he's just tired. You know, you have a visit. And we're so fortunate because we have friends come in. So Jeremy brought us chicken noodle casserole thing. It's delicious. My dad
That's
loves
what we
it.
had for supper that first night, by the way.
That was the second night. No one came over. No one bothered us. I don't mean it like that.
Jerks. Just kidding.
No one came over the first night. It was the second night.
Well,
Jeremy
Casey
came
and Jake
over.
were here, but
yeah.
I think we ordered out, but it don't matter.
I'm sure we ordered pizza.
I honestly, since our whatever episode that was, I've been trying to think what it was, and I really thought it was Jeremy's chicken and noodle.
Nope, that was the second night, and Dad loved it. So wanted it for breakfast the next day, lunch the next. It was
he wiped it out.
Wiped it out so quick, but and still every time he sees Jeremy, asks if he has any of his chicken noodle casserole. That's all he talks about. Do you have any of that chicken noodle casserole with you? Like Jeremy just carries it around. First casserole
in his back pocket.
First casserole.
He keeps it in his pocket like Napoleon keeps tots.
Yeah. Love that movie. Okay, so we are like, even just to go. So Jeremy comes over on that night and we eat dinner, and then we're just sitting, chit chatting, talking, go upstairs to clean up, come back down, Dad's asleep.
He
doesn't want to watch TV. So he just kind of wants to.
After you've had surgeries, you're already, just when you're healing, you're tired enough. But then the infection and everything else. And every, walking to the toilet and back for most people is not a big deal. But for him, wears him out.
Even that, we're checking his oxygen before he starts. We're checking his oxygen when he's done. Like, just walking from chair to bed, like checking the oxygen constantly, the blood pressure, doing all of those things, and getting out of the elevation of the mountains and up in Idaho has actually helped his oxygen level. So where he would be up and moving, and it would be sometimes 86, and he'd stop and take some deep breaths. It'd be in the low 90s. We are continually in the 90s. unless we're sleeping. When we're sleeping, sometimes we still drop into the 80s. There's a 77 one night. But anyway, so we have so many good things that are going on and so many things.
It's good to see the progress. It's good to see all of our friends coming and helping us out. It just shows you who your friends are.
Absolutely. You know? And it has been such a huge blessing. And then to have them meet my dad and be like, oh my God, your dad's amazing. Your dad's now my dad.
Yeah. I mean,
he has no.
Casey calls him dad.
Yeah. Jeremy calls him dad. He's just dad.
Sorry.
And everyone, you know, how's
we gotta
dad
get
doing?
Different table. This is irritating.
I'm sorry. How's dad doing? Checking in on dad. How are we doing? So we are so blessed in that regard. But one thing that's actually very frustrating is traveling from one state to another, or the fact that even dad lives in a different state than us. I mean, we're borderline state with the Mississippi River, but so to us, we just live so close. We don't think about it. But it is a pain.
Yeah. Different things.
Yeah. So we finally get a PCP, a primary care provider.
Sorry.
Get that set up. Wonderful human being. And can't get handicap stickers because we couldn't get one in Idaho because you have to get it from the state that you reside in and where you are licensed in.
I think we've come to grips with just not having one right now.
I mean, they told us, well, we'll get you a temporary one. And they're like, oh, you're not from around here. I mean, they know, but they don't, like, you don't think about it when we're there in the hospital. And so then it was, oh, just stop in your primary care and get one. So obviously we couldn't get one from Clinton, and it goes by the state your driver's licensed in. And then they want to know if my dad wants to surrender his driver's license. Guess what that answer is?
No.
Absolutely not. You know, so, but I
There's
can't
no
get it
There's
because
still,
I'm the caregiver.
There's still hope to get for him to be driving again.
Oh, absolutely there is. But it's frustrating because just to go anywhere, you have to park your car, get out, drop him off, walk him in, get him sitting down, or there has to be two of us. And then you have to go take the car, drive it wherever you can find a parking spot, and then run in, because if he's standing, he's exhausted at that point in time.
Well, I mean, to get in the car, you have to be on the driver's seat holding his gate belt.
Yeah.
I'm in the front trying to use, because he can't pick his leg up, so I have to use my foot underneath his foot and kind of help lift it up.
It is a process, and physical therapists, holy appreciation.
Yeah, they have patience. That's who has it all.
And the other side of it is, dad isn't like, you know, completely incapacitated in any way. He's not quadriplegic. He's not wheelchair bound. Like, he still has some movement and some strength.
And it's getting better in this time.
Caregivers who have to do all of the lifting, all of the things.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Like, I'm mentally exhausted at the end of days, but like,
well, I mean, there's
physically exhausted.
All different kinds of caregivers. I mean, it's all different kind of people that caregivers are doing that for. And, you know, as hard as this is, there's other ones that, I feel my heart's out for you. My heart goes out for those people.
Because so dad needed a haircut. And I did not know, like, first of all, where I was going to take him. And then second of all, to get him out of the house.
I don't think you could get him in a barber chair.
It was, and trust me, he was scruffy and his hair was crazy. And he was like, you'll get me a haircut. And I was like, yeah, you know, we'll figure it out. I'll have someone come in. So obviously on the last day of the trip, I messaged Mac DeVille. And she graciously said to me, family is family, and I'll be out. And that Wednesday was out here cutting his hair. I have pictures of it. And I think he might be in love. And yes, he has a heart murmur.
Who isn't?
And he has a heart murmur, so it might have skipped 2 beats at that point in time. But and it's not because she's pretty on the eyes. I get that side of it, but it's because he was being pampered and taken care of and felt like
Well, anybody that's willing to come to your house and do this,
Oh, absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean that was dope. That was super dope of her.
Oh, I mean, it was.
And she would do it again.
Oh, in a heartbeat. He says he's not ready for a haircut yet because I asked him the other day if he was ready for a haircut, and he's like, "No, not yet." And then he'll joke and go, "Is it haircut day?" But anyway, and she was wonderful and
Mhm.
made him look amazing.
Mhm.
He said he wanted the Brad Pitt look.
He's goofy.
She told him he didn't look a day past 78.
He's a goofy one. When he's on his norm, like being normal,
Yeah.
he's pretty funny.
He's a lot like you in that his coping skill is laughter.
Oh yeah.
I see a lot of that a part of you and him in each other because I know it's like one of those weird things that you see in your, they say you always marry your dad or whatever. Not like that, but come on. Anyway, your coping mechanism has always been humor and laughter and cracking jokes at the most inopportune times.
Yeah.
You talked about Brad's funeral, prime example. My mother's funeral, you did the same thing.
Well, my sister's.
But yes, that's true too. But my dad's the same way. Even in the hospital, I'd be like, "Dad, that's not funny," and he'd be like, "I know, but I'm just trying to make it funny.
Yeah.
I just need funny. Like it hurts, so make me laugh." Okay, fine, if that's what you want to do.
I'd rather laugh than cry.
Oh, absolutely.
Or cry and laugh.
But that's him trying to find the good in everything too. Which
I mean, he can be a mixture. I mean, there's sometimes he's more positive, and then there's other times he's more negative. But he kind of goes back and forth.
He does.
I try to stay more positive. You are pretty regularly negative.
And with that, folks, I'm just kidding. But now you've totally derailed my train of thought. He's getting his haircut. He looks like Brad Pitt. He's loving it. He's telling Max stories of Thailand, and they're laughing. And she gets him all cleaned up, gets him all shaved up, and he's like, "Wow, I feel amazing. What do I owe you?" And she says, "Nothing."
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "I came over here and wanted to do this." Actually, she said, she's like a drug dealer. The first one's always free. So he tipped her and paid her, and it was wonderful. Mm-hmm. And it's just the experience and how it made him feel.
Mm-hmm. No, she went out of her way to make sure he felt important.
He felt so good to have that done, and that he got to pay her and those types of things. And it's just one of those many blessings throughout all of this.
I think it's one of those things that gave him a little bit of normality.
Yeah.
Getting a haircut, paying somebody, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'm stupid. Dumb plumber.
So, but guess what the first appointment out of all of these? Yes, we have a primary care set, but we can't get into the person yet. How did you know?
The deck stacked in my favor.
Do you know what an audiologist does?
I do now.
Yeah. I actually thought it was going to have to be an ENT doctor that checks your hearing. I didn't realize it's an audiologist. I don't know. Ear, nose, and throat.
Nose, throat.
Yeah.
Ears. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like my brain thought that he had to go to ENT to get things like fitted and blah, blah, blah. And then you went to an audiologist. But
why don't they put optometrist in that?
Because that's your eyes.
So it could be like a double ENT.
A double ENT?
Yeah. Ears, eyes, nose, and throat.
Gotcha.
Like a face doctor. Why don't they just call it a face doctor?
Because there's a lot of very intricate parts to your face.
Maybe a face doctor is a plastic surgery people.
I mean,
I don't know.
Anyway.
Who does like the stuff to get rid of wrinkles?
Like Botox?
Yeah. Who would do that?
Like a dermatologist.
Oh, cosmetologist? No, that's not.
Cosmetology is the school you go to. Cosmetologists.
Never mind. A dumb plumber.
Right. So we get dad hearing aids. Mm-hmm. We at least get his hearing tested. And this is what I find out. Normal people hear here. He hears way below the table here.
down here.
And then there's different. So my dad has not had hearing aids in like 15 years.
Oh yeah, yeah. He has the ones that he bought 15 years ago.
Yeah. So he has them, but they're 15 years old. And when we were obviously in Idaho, they gave him a cognitive test, and they told him that out of everything on that test, the only thing that he had an issue with was hearing. Like, if he could have heard the questions, if he could have heard this, if he could have heard that, he would have gotten it right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am bound and determined to get him hearing aids right away, because it'll fix everything and everything will be right with the world.
Well, at least it'll be easier for him to understand things because he can hear clearly.
Right.
And at this time right now, before hearing aids, his TV downstairs is set to 127 for the volume.
And a half. You told me one night you could hear it with your headphones on in here.
Yeah.
Because I can't hear anything.
You almost said the shit word.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Now we have to put it on an explicit. But so, so we get to the audiologist, we get the hearing, and hearing aids are actually really, really cool now. They have a little smart chip in them. Mm-hmm. And they have different levels. So if you live a quiet lifestyle, so if you're home alone and you're just quiet all the time and not around people, there's that level.
Yeah.
And then there's the medium level, which is kind of quiet but kind of super noisy, which is like if you go to the Moose 3 times a week and have beers with your friends and, conversations and parties, that level. And then there's like the super loud lifestyle if you're like super active and around people all the time. So I'm going to assume like if you're still working type of thing.
So he lives like that medium lifestyle.
Yeah. So we had to get the medium lifestyle. I don't know if you knew this or not, how much his hearing aids were.
I know they're more than 5,000, less than 7,000.
Okay. They are $6,000 and not covered by insurance at all.
That makes no sense.
Tell me why.
We don't pay enough for insurance, obviously, to be able to have hearing aids.
Tell me, hearing is a basic human need, right?
I mean, you would think
you have eyeglasses. You have glasses insurance. It's an extra thing you add on. Why aren't hearing aids part of this?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, they're overpriced. Like crazily. You can get, I know Raycons are just like all that stuff, but seriously.
What do you mean?
Why you can buy a pair of Raycons for like $200.
Yeah.
Or hearing aids are $6,000. I get Raycons don't magnify what's coming in. So I get there's other stuff, but it's same concept, adding a microphone or an inlet.
Yeah, but they also like are supposed to adjust and all this stuff and like learn
they're
your
actually
hearing
pretty cool
patterns
because they're Bluetooth. So now his when he's on the phone, he doesn't have to be on speakerphone like he used to be.
Yeah,
just go right to his ear.
Yeah, it's going to go through his headphones.
His hearing aids.
I call them headphones all the time because I have headphones on. But I mean,
have headphones on all the time.
Don't start with me, sir.
Sorry.
But I just cannot believe that they're not covered by your dad's are, right?
He goes to the VA.
So, and everything's covered for him because he's a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's a Marine. Was a Marine.
Or always a Marine.
Okay, got it. I still have his flag.
Mm-hmm.
But that just frustrated me. And that was a little bit of an issue.
It is what it is.
So,
I mean, luckily, he has the means to buy those.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the other part that don't have the means to buy those. I mean, hopefully there's some kind of assistance for people because that's bullshit.
I would hope that there would be. I don't know. But if anyone knows anything, probably post a link or something because I cannot imagine if you could not afford hearing aids and you went through life at he would never hear anything.
Yeah, that would suck.
I mean, I can't communicate with him now when he turns them off. And when he takes them out at the end of the night, I got nothing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, fire siren thingies could be going off in his room and I don't think he'd hear it.
Fire alarms?
Yeah, those things.
Or fire and siren things. That's about the same. Pretty close to the same thing.
So, the other thing that I guess I should probably mention is that when we were in Idaho, I had to get medical POA.
Yes, you did.
And I didn't have to. It was recommended to me, and my dad did not want to do it.
Well, I mean, I think that's another thing that he loses But
But the thing is, I think that people think that that means that you all of a sudden no longer can make decisions about your medical.
yeah, it just, you're there to help him understand and help explain is all it really is. And you can call doctors for him because it's easier.
Right.
Make appointments.
For us, yes, in our situation. But when you're a power of attorney, medical or otherwise, and I'm not a lawyer, so do not take this as legal advice.
Jeremy thinks I am.
That was because of Facebook post. Is it Facebook official? But when it only means if someone is incapacitated and can't make those decisions for themselves.
Mhm.
So, like in my dad's situation on the way home, if he would have passed out
Right.
and would have needed a life saving whatever, I would be able to make that decision.
Correct.
And it also allows me to be able to make the phone calls for him, be
In
in
his
appointments for
situation, he
him.
needs to have a POA just in case.
Yes, you are correct. But it doesn't mean that you no longer are able to make decisions for yourself. Because,
Correct.
like, you know, I
Well-
want him to be able to make as many decisions as that he can for himself. The hardest part is sometimes, well, no, the hardest part is right now he can't hear, and it takes him so long to process and put everything together
Mhm.
that by that time it's
Right.
it's a patience thing. It truly is. I mean, everything stems down to having patience. Never mind, I see why you can't ever do this.
Correct.
So
back to the hearing aids.
yeah, they're $6,000.
Okay. And,
That's expensive.
well, I mean,
But we got them. We got them ordered.
that's what I mean.
Got them ordered. Taken care
That's
of.
where we started. Let's get back on track.
Hey, we got them ordered. We got them taken care of. Looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to pick them up next week.
Mm-hmm.
So
What other doctor appointments did you hit? Did you hit cardiology or pulmonary?
no
Infectious?
cardiology. We have called around, but you have to get a referral because Medicare.
What about infectious disease doctor?
Okay, so that's a fun one. So
Because he
going-
got all this in Thailand, it added a few other elements.
So Idaho infectious disease, obviously he was not released until he could get off the IV antibiotics. Then they put us on the oral antibiotic, which he has to have because I have found out that bacterial infections, they come back with a vengeance.
Potentially, yeah. And didn't he say they like attract to like arthritis too,
Yes.
which he has a ton of.
Yes. And so the septic arthritis, I like everything compounded. But they sent us to an infectious disease doctor here. They referred us so
Mhm.
that we just had continuous care.
Mhm.
Want to know what the problem is?
What?
They didn't send the right medical records.
Oh yeah.
So I'm also wondering now from state to state, is it different requirements to get to a doctor? Because they're like, well, you need to call and have them send X, Y, and Z. And I'm calling out and they're like, well, we can't talk to you. But I'm like, wait, I was out there when I got the medical power of attorney and signed all this stuff.
Right.
It is
Nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
Yeah.
An absolute nightmare.
Well, we probably have a couple layers that some people don't have. And I mean, there's people that probably have more layers than us, but being that we were in Idaho, it happened in Thailand. He lives in Iowa and we live in Illinois.
Yeah.
There's some different, it's just some hoops, some hoops and loops.
So waiting for that. And then, of course, he had surgery on his knee. So orthopedic surgeon, right?
Mhm.
Same situation. And then before we left, you were there. I had packets of his medical records.
Mhm.
So in case anything happened, I could just set it down on a table and go, here you go. Here's all the information. Worst case scenario. Tell every doctor, but I have it. I have everything right here. They've got stuff sent to them, I guess. But it's all the wrong stuff. It's not the right stuff. They didn't get stuff from the actual hospital, so they don't know what type of surgery. And I'm like, but I have that, so I'll just drop it off. But they won't accept it from me.
Right. Even though you have POA.
No, like, I guess if my dad would have walked in with it, they wouldn't accept it from him either. Like, why would you tamper with your medical records?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason. I mean, they don't just.
So now I'm hunting down medical records and trying to
Right.
get all these things in, which it was such a huge deal before we left that we had continuous care and that we didn't skip a beat. And now all I'm hearing is, We'll give you a call.
Yeah.
We need this. Nope, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's stupid. But
So,
I mean, I don't think anybody out there is going to say that we have the best medical in the United States. I mean, I think our medical is really good, but it's super stupid,
yeah.
you know.
So
first
many
week,
doctors so far.
so we get into audiology. You get to, did you go to ORA?
No, because they're still doing medical records.
Okay, so we didn't get into infectious disease.
Mm-mm.
So the first week, the only people we saw was audiology, physical therapist, and the visiting nurse.
Yes.
Okay.
And you want to know what the other frustrating part of this is?
What?
Nobody knew my dad before any of this.
No, I know. So nobody has a baseline. Yeah, that makes it a little bit more rough.
What do you like? We're home now.
Mhm.
How are you
Obviously.
feeling?
How am I feeling?
Like what's your thoughts here? What's going through your head?
You know, I'm trying to stay out of the way. If you need anything, I'll just do whatever.
Right.
If Ray needs anything, same, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I just try to stay out of the way. Let you guys have.
And setting everything up.
Yeah, I mean,
getting his room set up, getting everything moved around,
Yeah, I mean, we did all that after the first week. I mean,
just those few. Remember, I tore everything out of your bathroom and was like, "Oh, we need these doors," and then we didn't need them.
So I mean, it's okay. I mean, I can buy more.
If I know that's more. True, but I mean, so how are you feeling about all this? This is we're home. It's a lot. A little crazy this first week.
It's a lot, but things haven't set in. The first weekend, things don't set in. You're just kind of going on. I don't say adrenaline, but you're just going. So, nothing really starts hitting you for at least a solid week or two, and then, after a couple of weeks, the frustrations start coming in. But I don't want to get into that yet.
But I will say this: as much as I love all of our friends coming over and seeing us and visiting and talking and chit chatting, that too is exhausting to me. Mm-hmm. And I love every single one of them, and I look forward to it like you would not believe. But I'm just so tired.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, how many people out there have their alarms set for 1, 3, and 5, or 2 and 4, whatever?
Yeah. Do you know what else I forgot to tell you about in the first week?
What?
The oxygen machine quit working.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. So that was the Friday. The oxygen machine died.
Thursday night at 3 a.m. The alarm.
Would that be Friday morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
The alarm went off. Right.
Like always.
The alarm, or 3 or 4 a.m. The alarm went off on that thing. It was super loud, and I could not get it to shut off, and I literally just had to turn it off.
Mm-hmm. It was dead.
And at this point in time, the only people that I have is physical therapy.
Yep. But I mean, so the oxygen is dead. And we can't even get a replacement till Monday.
So guess what I get to do? Every 2 hours while he's sleeping, sneak down there and check his oxygen level. Put that little pulse ox on his finger. And I have to make sure he stays asleep, because if he wakes up, it doesn't count.
Right. And then, so Monday, I think it was, we get the new machine. And luckily we had no incidents over the weekend.
We didn't have a new machine for...
That was a Tuesday.
No. It was almost like a week.
Okay, man, maybe it was.
We're losing track of time.
Yeah.
But because in the middle of this, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think we'll get into that on the next episode, but I mean, I think you could do a little explanation, because it's during the day. In the morning, I'm at work and I get a phone call.
So everything is going so good. Besides,
we're making good progress.
Yep. Physically doing his exercise, that we're starting out slow. They're just little sit in your chair and lift your leg up, but we're making progress, and it's getting easier and easier, and everything is going absolutely swimmingly. And then Dad's really tired. And we kind of have a night. You know, he doesn't sleep well. He's kind of agitated. I think like he wants to go home. We're frustrated with the whole situation.
Yeah.
And then the nurse comes in, and all I will say right now is that his pulse was like, or his beats per minute was like at 32.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll go into that on the next episode.
Yeah. So until then, if people want to find us or hear more of our other episodes or learn more about us, where do they do that?
Facebook, YouTube. All the links will be in the description, like always. I try to put them in there. If I'm missing something, leave a comment or reach out to us. So, I mean, we're just trying to do this as we go, is with all the time we have, spare time we have. We try to get this stuff
so much
done.
spare time. If there's something you want to know about, if there's something you want to hear, if there's something you want to talk about, if there's advice that you have for us, post it in the comments. Tell us, email us, raisingmydad@gmail.com. Let us know, because as I always say, we are in uncharted territory.
But if you can, check out the YouTube, check out the Facebook, like the page, subscribe. Videos. Yeah, we did a couple new videos that are out there. Like I say, and they'll be in the description, so you can check those out. They're just little short videos of pictures on the way home or videos from on the way home. We're going to keep slowly releasing those as well. Yeah.
So
reach out.
Anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Well, until next time, then be kind and tell someone you love them.
Check on your loved ones.
All right, we're out.
See you guys.